Can you beat Dark Souls using only items that randomly drop from enemies? Welcome back to my second Dark Souls challenge run. In Dark Souls, enemies can randomly drop items when defeated. Is it possible to beat the game by only using these random drops? Here are the rules for the run. First of all, defeat all bosses. Secondly, only use weapons, armour, consumables and upgrade materials that come from random drops. And finally, no summoning. This is going to be a solo adventure. Here are a few clarifications. All key items, embers and smithing tools are allowed. I'm not going to wear any rings except for the Ring of Artorias. Estus flasks can be used and are allowed to be upgraded, and any item I find can be fed to Frampt regardless of where I got it from. Here are two disclaimers for this run. First of all, I'm playing Dark Souls Remastered on Xbox, so there are no mods installed. And secondly, this is a blind run. I haven't watched anyone else attempt this beforehand, so if someone else has done this, please support their content as well. With that all said, let's start looting. Let's get this party started. I chose the name Steely Dan and customized the perfect character. I woke up and it was time to break out. I opened the door and it was go time. My punches did a whopping 2 damage per hit, so this boss will only take 413 punches. I put up a brave fight, but he crushed my hopes. I said hi to Oscar and got some orange juice. I started fighting the hollows, and the backstab damage was impressive. After pummeling my foe to death, I continued punching my way through. But the hollow with the shield was pretty tough, and he put me in my place. I got my revenge, and I tried to fight the boss again. But I went home empty-handed. After an eternity of punching, I had my first random drop, a broken sword. I was so excited to finally have a weapon. I killed some more hollows, and it was time for a rematch. After doing a perfect plunge attack, I slowly chipped away at Big Boy's health, and I landed the final blow. I opened the door, got snatched by the crow, and had made it to Lordran. Welcome to Firelink Shrine. I lifted some weights and started looking for goodies. Now, I can't use any regular items I find, but I can sell them to Frampt later. I joined a fight club and made my way to the Undead Burg. After a short battle, I found a beautiful hat. After another scuffle, I found a shirt to match. My fashion was on point. I lit the bonfire, and I slowly killed the Burg boys. I received a soft humanity from a hollow. I avoided the barrel, and then was overjoyed to find a longsword. I took the sword for a test drive, and it felt so good. I got a drop on the shield boy, and I stole his pants. I took on the Black Knight, but sadly, there were no random drops. It was time to bully the bull. I took out the archers, and I triggered the fight. I had a juicy plunge attack, and I went back for seconds. After slicing his shins, another boss was down. I chilled out with Solaire, and then crossed the Bridge of Death. I kicked down the ladder, and then awkwardly ran past the Drake. The Drake left the server, and it was time to hunt some boar. I tried to go upstairs, but Spear Boy said no. I tried again, and I found my first Titanite shard. I cleared out the roof, and I could smell bacon cooking. After a plunge attack, the boar was no more. Some poor timing against a spear boy got me killed. But on the way back, I found another shard. I found another soft humanity and picked up the basement key. I used the lift and leveled up. I took out the big knight. But this shard is a guaranteed drop, so I sadly can't use it. I grabbed the Firekeeper soul and made my way to the next bonfire. I regained my youth and I kindled the bonfire. I said hello to Andre.
I'm Andre, the Restorer.
And upgraded my sword. I went upstairs and the Balder Knight dropped a shard. I slowly stabbed the hollows. And then I started fighting Trident Boy. But then I was invaded. Is this invader Steely Dan's nemesis? I prepared for battle. And I got a few hits in. But a poorly timed attack was my undoing. I picked up my money, cleared a path, and after freeing Lautrec from his cell, I freed him from this world. It was time to confront the Gargoyles. The longsword did some decent damage, but 2 bad rolls cost me the fight. I found another soft humanity. I climbed my way back up, and I chipped away at his health. He invited his friend to the party, but after some cheeky hits, it was 1v1 again. And with one final blow, Steely Dan was victorious. I rang the bell, found a new sword, and found a new shield. I said good night to the Black Knight, but sadly, no random drops. It was time to clear out the basement. I opened the shortcut and found a better shield. I played with some doggies. I cleared out the thieves and found a new hat. It was time to fight Goat Boy. But a bad doggo wanted to play with me. More doggos wanted to play. But I came back. I put the doggos to sleep. And after a long exchange of blows, I was now the goat. I returned to Firelink for a nap, and then I prepared to go to the depths. It was time to plummet the depths. I found the large ember, took out the butcher, but I sadly got slimed. I found another soft humanity, I picked up the key, killed a wizard, opened the door, and lit the bonfire. It was time to fight the gaping dragon. After many strikes, I cut off his tail. I kept attacking the stump, and I bonked his head. And after a long fight, the gaping dragon was no more. It was time for a lovely trip to Blighttown. I found some poop. I joined Twitter, and despite my best efforts, I ran out of health. I wanted my souls, but I didn't check for holes. While trying to descend deeper, I was ambushed, but by some miracle, I survived. I made it to the bonfire, and went for a stroll in the swamp. I found a large shard from a slug. While rolling through the swamp, I saw a strange item in the distance. As I got closer, I saw that it was a vagrant. I successfully survived its attacks, and I found a humanity. But vagrants are guaranteed to drop items, so sadly I can't use it. I went upstairs, and I challenged the Blow Dart boys. I grabbed the soul, but the fire doggos got me. I made it back, became toxic, and I died trying to escape. I dodged the big boys, picked up my souls, and upgraded my flask. I went back down and found another soft humanity. It was time to squish a spider. My sword did a whopping 20 damage to Quelaag, so it was gonna be a fun fight. But I sadly died to a fire fart. But I came back, and I was determined to win. But the floor was lava, and I got stabbed to death. But for my third attempt, I took things slow, and after 7 minutes of chipping away at her health, it was finally done. Steely Dan rang the bell, and Uncle Sen's fortress opened up. I journeyed upwards, leveled up, and Blighttown was done. I took the lift to Firelink, and then I met Frampt.
Hello.
I fed him all the regular items I found, and I had 60,000 souls by the end. I gave the large ember to Andre,
Magnificent.
and I bought the crest of Artorias and all the smith boxes. After a cheeky level up, I made my way to Darkroot Garden. The Black Knight wanted to fight, and I sent him to his doom. But there were still no drops. I found some clumps, and it was time to take on the butterfly. I rolled through most attacks, and I sliced whenever it landed. The butterfly kept nuking me. But eventually, I delivered the final blow. I grabbed the key in the ember, and it was time to hail Hydra. I blocked incoming attacks, and sliced the heads when I could, until only one remained. I climbed the rocks, and the Hydra attacked the ground. After 10 minutes of fighting, the Hydra was no more. It was time to visit Havel. My backstabs did very little damage, but I was having a good time. Havel took a nap. I climbed the stairs, but I got ganked. While fighting my way back, I found a battle axe. I got my revenge, and I made it back to Firelink. I sold some loot, found a shard, and upgraded the axe. I visited the graveyard, and I entered the Bone Zone. I killed the mage, and I lit the bonfire. I kept hunting, and I skipped some enemies. Somewhere, a lantern boy jumped off the cliff, and it gave me a soft humanity. I met Patches, I got knocked off a ladder, and then I got bonked on the head. I found a mage who was using wall hacks, and after a gentle nudge, he ascended to heaven. Start your engines, it's motorbike skeleton time. I got my face shredded. I tried to be sneaky, but I was attacked from behind. I was winning the fight, but a surprise Beyblade shredded me. After a few more deaths, I made it to the fog door. I erased Pinwheel, I found an Amazon Kindle, and then I ran for my life. I kept running, and I made it back to Firelink. I put on some makeup, and I kindled for 20 flasks. I was ready to visit Uncle Sen. I found another shard, and I entered the fortress. I dodged some traps, but I got bullied by the boulder. I crossed the chasm of doom. I made it to the rooftops, and then I touched the bonfire. The big steel boy dropped a large shard, and then I killed the giant on the roof. It was time to fight the iron golem. My damage wasn't great, and he yeeted me off the cliff.
Bye, have a great time.
I found 2 shards while running back up, and round 2 began. But a cheeky swing sent me flying off the cliff again. I found another shard, and gave the golem another go. After smacking his legs, the golem started to wobble. And after some more smacking, it was his turn to fall off the edge. I leveled up, found 2 shards, and took the cage down. I found a new shirt, I upgraded my axe, and I curled up in a ball. It was time to go back to the asylum. I touched down, and I took out the first Black Knight. After murdering the second, I finally found a Black Knight shield. I grabbed the doll, and it was time to slay the stray. I dodged his magic attacks, and I ended his misery. I flew home, and it was time to prepare for Anno Londo. I farmed a huge stash of goodies. I upgraded my axe, I used the lift, and I touched the orb. We're going to Anno Londo, boys. I had a quick nap at the bonfire, and then took the elevator down. I slashed the gargoyle, picked up some knives, went for a walk, and moved the platform down. I slashed the other gargoyle, and I dodged the archers. But my fat feet got stuck, and I fell to my doom. I made it up again, but the archer had other plans.
Denied.
I got my revenge. I opened the door, used 4 humanity, and I kindled the bonfire. It was time for pain. I tried to 1v1 Ornstein, but Smo had other plans. I tried again, but I got cornered and crushed to death. Was I going to learn from my mistakes? No. No, I wasn't. Eventually I got tired of dying, so I opened the castle doors and I took the next flight back home. I needed some better gear. It was time to go farming. The farming was a great success. I had a new weapon, new armour, and more shards to use. Frampt crushed my large shards into smaller pieces, I buffed my armour, and I sharpened my sword. After some cheeky farming, I had a +10 sword and I was determined to win. I returned to Anno Londo and I tried again. This sword was great, but my movement was too slow. I took off my armour, and with my extra speed, I took down Ornstein. For phase 2, I got dressed, and I got a few decent hits in. After one final stab to the crutch, Smo was defeated. I had done it. I met Guinevere, got the Lord Vessel, left the castle, and it was time to go to the Painted World. It was time for a holiday in the painting. I said hello to the locals, and I started a fight with the dragon. I opened the door, went on a killing spree, and then I karate chopped the dragon legs. It was time to fight Priscilla. I cut off her tail, and we played hide and seek in the snow. After a few more swings, it was done. I jumped into the void, ran back to the bonfire, and warped back to Firelink. I became a snack, I placed the Lord Vessel, and I got eaten again. I went for a walk, and I opened Darkroot Door. It was time to play with Seath. The battle was going well, but some bad timing cost me the fight. I tried again, and I put her down. With Artorias' ring in my pocket, it was time to visit New Londo. There was one problem though. I can't defend myself from the ghosts. I made a YOLO run through the town, climbed the ladder, got the key, and opened the floodgates. I fought some dark wraiths and found some goodies. I took out King Blobby, grabbed the very large ember, found another chunk, and it was time to commit regicide. I dropped into the abyss, but the fight did not start well. I was able to kill one king, but the second one ended me. I gave Andre a gift, I upgraded my sword, found another chunk, and then tried the kings again. I didn't get a single hit in. I gave it another crack, but I got sliced again. I switched up my gear, and I managed to take out the first king. I survived this grab attack with 1 HP. I spammed R1, and I chugged Estus. And I finally killed the kings. I did some cheeky farming, and to my excitement, I found a Dark Hand. Now the Dark Hand steals soft humanity, and soft humanity's not an item. So, I started giving out kisses, and after making out with everyone, I had 8 soft humanity. The humanity helped me find some more chunks, and my sword was now plus 14. After feeding Frampt some chunks, I bolstered my armour, and preparations were complete. I kindled some bonfires, and I went for a walk to Blighttown. I made it to the ruins, I triggered Ceaseless, I tickled his hand, and the fight was over. The lava cooled down, and I was invaded by Kirk. I sent him to the Shadow Realm, took out the worm, and I rested at the bonfire. It was time to take down Firesage. I got comboed by his magic farts, but I came back, and I took him down. I activated the shortcut lift, and it was time to fight Centipede Boy. My sword did some spicy damage, but he kicked me into the lava, and I have no clue how I survived. I became a snack, I whacked him back, and after a final swing, I got his orange ring. Now the orange ring helps you walk on lava, but it's a guaranteed drop. and you technically don't need it to beat the game, but I can't cross the lava without it. So, there was only one other choice, the secret door. Now the secret door requires 30 humanity to open, so I visited the depths and I hunted the rats for humanity. Let's get those drops. It took a long time, but I had all 30 humanity. I joined the secret club, I opened the secret door, and I made my way to Lost Isolith. It was time to fight the Bed of Chaos. I broke the first arm, smashed the second, but got sent to the Abyss. It was a long walk back, and our friend Solaire had sadly lost his mind. I put him to rest, and I gave the bed another go. Yep, this boss sucks. Eventually, I rolled through and I broke the bed. It was time to go back to the Bone Zone. I found some shards, and I switched my axe to Divine mode. And then I made my way to the Tomb of Giants. I stumbled my way to the first bonfire, but not having any light sources would make this section a pain. I kicked Patches off a cliff, and he instantly returned the favour. I took out the clerics, and I climbed back up. I took things slowly, but I got jumped by the dog. I forgave Patches and got mauled by dogs again. Dark spirit gravity invaded, and after some awkward stumbling, I eventually found the bonfire. After some more skydiving, I could finally see again. I took out the bone pillars, and while clearing out the pinwheels, I found the Mask of the Father.
Very good.
I entered the fog, and I took the plunge. I used the Divine Axe to cleanse the skeletons, and I started smacking Nito. After several swipes, the King of Death was dead. Speaking of death, I had forgotten to kill Gwyndolin. I warped to the princess, I paid my respects, and I got Gwyndolin's attention. I had a 1v1 with the Firekeeper.
How? This man is a threat.
And it was time to fight. I dodged the first few attacks, but his magic hit me like a truck. I tried again, but I got wrecked by his arrows. I came back, I chipped away at his health, until he was no more.
Oh, heretic.
Next up on my hit list was Seath. I took out the pigs, got the pendant, and it was time to raid the archives. I died to good game design, woke up in jail, but I made my escape. I got a free hug, I turned off the music, opened the door, and made it to the bonfire. After moving the stairs, I pulled the lever and entered the crystal cave. I crossed the bridge, I avoided the clams, and entered Seath's arena. I broke the crystal, but Seath had brought his buddies to the fight. I took out the clams, I sliced away, and Seath was defeated. With Seath destroyed, the kiln was open, But it was time to go on a date with the DLC. I returned to Darkroot. I got grabbed, and then I challenged the Guardian. My sword was shredding his health, but I underestimated his speed. I tried again, but I got headbutted. After a few well-placed strikes, the Guardian was finally down. I visited the sanctuary, I entered the woods, and was greeted by Kalameet. It was time to fight Artorias. I got a few good hits in, but he was a bully. But using my trusty shield and sword, I was able to beat him first try. I lit the bonfire, and I started to explore the township. While exploring, I came across another vagrant. 2 in one playthrough. Lucky me. I was making some good progress, but I got sniped by the wizard. I reached the dungeon, took out the humanity sprites, and it was time to fight Manus. Now I have a confession. I've never actually beaten Manus before. I've always cheesed him using arrows from above. So, for me, this is a true challenge. I'd need to face my fear. I blocked his attacks, and I tried to learn his moveset. I was able to get a few hits in, but he was just so fast. I tried again, but I got scooped up into his combo. But surely I was getting better, right? I needed a break from Manus, so I decided to visit Kalameet. I got obliterated by his flame, and I asked Go to help me out.
It's called Kalameet.
After watching a sick trick shot, it was time to battle. It was a bad start, and I got stumped to death. I tried again, but failed. I made a pit stop at the Crystal Cave. I farmed some Twinkling Titanite. And I upgraded my shield. I grabbed some more humanity, kindled the dungeon bonfire, and after a refreshing break, it was back to the grind. I took things slow and learned Kalameet's attacks. The upgraded shield helped me tank some of the fire attacks, but a tricky combo threw me off guard. I got flamed. I got cursed. And it was a sloppy fight. But in the end, I was finally able to take him down. Now only Manus remained. Why do I hear music? Every attempt ended the same way. I needed a new strategy. I needed to get naked. I took things slow and looked for a window to attack. My shield helped me survive some of the combos. I hugged his legs and avoided his magic attacks. But a cheeky hit nearly finished me. I narrowly dodged a magic barrage, and I chugged through the pain. After some cheeky rolls and some tactical swings, I had legitimately beat Manus for the first time. I was so proud of myself. It was time to take on Gwyn. I entered the kiln, and Gwyn grabbed and yeeted me. I parried some attacks, and And after one final strike, Gwyn had plinned his last pawn. So, can you beat Dark Souls using only random drops? Yes, you sure can. This run was a lot of fun, and apart from spending quite a few hours farming items, I'd recommend this run to anyone. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me, and I hope to see you soon in another video. God bless.